we're going to look ahead or whatever to conference play and, just kind of discuss a few things or whatever. I got a big special guest in the building with me today, Mr. Jordan Leake from the Hoop Portal. We're going to talk about it, though, on 94 feet of UNC.
Gordy to Black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan!
Swicker with the defense and the rebound. That's a good effort by Swicker.
Stackout streaking it on Parks. Rebound stock is good, and he gets fouled by Parks. Oh my goodness, what a dunk by Stackout.
Interesting that he brought him back so quickly, but you know what? They're down 8. In fairness,
the glass no good. Rebound followed by Hansgrove. Good! Carolina.
inside 30 overall. Love, top of the key.
Alice about this over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship.
And that is it. There is a new team in college basketball. North Carolina takes the title. Hampton, any final. North Carolina is the 2009 national champion. And this year, the confetti is going to fall to North Carolina. They're not going to be denied this time.
What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the 94 feed of UNC podcast. Of course, I am your host, Mr. Linzel Graham, the man that gets no credit from those that use debit. If you know, you know. If you don't know, just ask somebody. They'll tell you exactly what it means or whatever. I got a big special guest, of course, in the building with me today, Mr. Jordan Leake from it is Leake, right? I just want to make sure I got that part right.
Yeah, you got it right. Silent.
Okay. So my guy Jordan is in the building with me today for sure from the Hoop Portal. We're gonna discuss a few things or whatever and talk some Tar Heel hoops and just things like that or whatever. But before we get into our conversations and our topics and everything, I just want to say that I appreciate everybody, man, for tapping in, of course, and supporting throughout the 2025 year. 2026 is going to be so much bigger and better. And we're going to keep building and keep growing, man. So again, appreciate all the love and the support from everybody, man. Make sure that you all tap in with the Heels in the Paint, the ladies over there. With the UNC women's basketball podcast. They got some big things coming this year. The 100 yards of UNC football podcast is coming this year. And we got some other things lined up as well or whatever. And so just make sure that you tapped in and you won't miss anything. So, just stay locked in or whatever. Also, make sure that you tap in, get you some merch. We got the hats. Jordan, I'm going to have to get you something, man, or something. We got to figure some things out, man, for sure. And
give me one.
Get some gear to you, man. But we got hats, we got T-shirts, we got jackets, we got it all, man. So, that link, of course, is in the description below. And come on over and join the Discord. We plan on doing some big things in the Discord this year, so that link is also in the description below. So it's free to join. So come join the community. It's over 550 people in there, and we all have a good time. We discuss everything UNC, football, basketball, women's basketball, baseball, you name it. So y'all come on over and enjoy and join the community and have a blast for sure, whatever. Just be respectful. That's all I ask. But enough with all of that. My special guest today, Mr. Jordan Leake from the Hoop Portal, is in the building. Jordan, how are you, my guy?
I'm doing good, man. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you and the family and everybody. I hope 2026 is better than 2025. And not that 25 was anything wrong with it, but we always looking for growth and keep moving up. So I really like the channel. I saw Bynum on here the other day too. Watched that video. It was really good stuff. So I'm honestly, this is the first guest appearance I've made since starting the Hoop Portal. So I appreciate you putting me on 94 feet of UNC, and I'm just happy to be here.
Absolutely, my guy. Absolutely. Look at that. I'm making history, man. Like I didn't even know that before we jumped on here or whatever. You just telling me now, that just makes me feel honored and have the privilege to actually be able to speak with you myself. So, You know,
I got
like
to
I
get the
told
honest
you,
reaction out of you. You know, that's why I held on to it. I got to get the honest reaction. It's not
hey,
acting up here, right? This
I
is real stuff.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Much love, my guy. Much love, man. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate you for taking out the time to come and chop it up with me. I call this the Zell Dome, Jordan. So, you know, it's kind of like the Dean Dome, but this is the Zell Dome. So I tell everybody that comes in, you know, come on in, kick your shoes off, you know, relax, get comfortable. We're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. So, you know, mi casa, su casa, you know what I'm saying? So just however you want to get comfortable, hey, please feel free to do so, man. So, but again, I definitely appreciate you for being here, man. And big shout out to RL Bynum for sure. Like that was the last episode of the year. So that's my guy right there, a legend for sure
Yeah.
from Tar Heel
Yeah.
Tribune. So but yeah, so Jordan, we got to get into some things because we got to discuss some things. We got to discuss some things. So listen, I've been listening. I've been listening to some of your shows, and I know that you got some concerns and you know and things like that. So I just said to myself, you know what, I got to get him on the show. I want to be able to chop it up with him. We kind of go back and forth on some things. If we got some disagreements, that's cool too. It's no harm, no hard feelings or anything like that. So I'm just glad that you're here, or whatever. But I guess my question to you is my first question would be, how you feeling about this team this year? Because I know you've expressed some things. So I'm just curious to know what's your thoughts, and you can shoot it straight with me too, my guy.
Yeah. No, I'll shoot it straight. I shoot it straight on my channel, and I get UNC fans in the comments every day trying to come at me. So it's cool. We keep it honest. This team, I think the hard part when digesting and figuring out this team is that there's really two train of thoughts. In my head, if we view this against last year's team, there's a clear improvement, right? The record is better, the talent is better. I think it is a little bit deeper, even though I think we do still have some bench problems, but there is a clear growth from last year to this year. And that's where I'm like, if that was the conversation and narrative, then I'm cool with it. That's fine. We got better. You keep building, you keep growing. The problem is, as me being in Chapel Hill, having conversations with friends, having conversations with people in the comments in the chat, this team is getting compared to 2017 national championship team. I've heard from 3 people that Hubert Davis is as good as a coach as Roy Williams, which to me is blasphemy. I'm gonna be honest with you. And that's where it's just like the fan base has to determine, look, man, if the standard is North Carolina, what you and me grew up on, we're still miles off what that was. In my opinion, we're still miles off what that was. If the standard is just, look, we've been pretty cardiac arrest the last couple of years, from national championship to blowing that lead in the national championship to missed tournament to ACC champs to probably should have been out the tournament last year, but you got in to this year. I mean, it's just been up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's where it's like, look, if our conversation is, can we just steady the ship? Can we rapidly get better? Can we see Hubert build a program and fix some things that we've seen over the last few years? If that was a conversation, I'd be cool with it. But there's too many UNC fans, too much narratives about this team is Final Four bound. This is the best team we've had since 2017. Hubert's the next Roy Williams. And I'm like, y'all got to stop, because what you're going to do is you're going to set yourself up for failure when we get to March. And I think this team probably wins 25 games in the regular season, but the schedule hasn't been super difficult compared to past years. And I think they're benefiting from that a lot right now. And the ACC, while it is better than what it was last year, is still not quite the Big 12. It's not the Big 10. I don't even think it's really the SEC yet, even though they did have a good showing in that ACC SEC challenge. So I just think we've got to pump the brakes on how good we think this team is. And I just did a video on the Hoop Portal, a quick short about, is this Carolina team a top 10 team in the country? And a lot of people say yes. A lot of people think that they're up there with Michigan and Arizona and Gonzaga. And I'm just like, guys, we are not there yet. And what you're doing is just setting yourself up for failure. That's my quick brief on it. We can get into the stats and stuff, but honestly, that's my train of thought, where it's like, for me, as someone who's not a delusional fan, I can say, look, they're better than last year. Keep growing and get better. But for some people, and I'm sure you know some, and I know some, we got to pump the brakes on this is a Final Four team, because we are not near that yet. We are still miles off what the Carolina program should be.
Okay, all right. So, geez, you said a lot right there, George. So let me, yeah. But it's all good, my guy. It's all good. Like this is what we do. This is what we do. So, where to start? So, me personally, like because I tell people all the time, there's a few things that you got to, like you said, that you got to kind of look into versus, because a lot of people, they'll say they'll just jump out there and just throw stuff out there. They'll give, crazy hot takes, just so many different things or whatever. And me personally, I base things off of two things. Like, number one, and I'm never afraid to tell my age, right? So like I grew up in that I've been watching and I've been a Carolina fan since 93. All right, like the year of the national championship. So, but I've seen over all of these years, I've seen these amazing teams that we have. In regards to, and I base things off of the eye test and numbers. And that's just how I look at things, right? So when I look at this team, of course, far better than it was last year. Absolutely. Much deeper than it was last year, of course, as well. The only thing to me with this team is, does this team have that potential to be that Final Four or, something like that? I truly do believe that we can be. I really do. And you got to remember that, like, seeding, all of that stuff or whatever in the tournament, that all plays a factor, of course. But I do believe that this team still, I'm like you, it has a lot of work to do. That I think the scoring, the shooting is where we lack right now. And that's a big plus to me. Now, do I think that, my thing is shoot. So eventually shooters come out of a rut. I think I just look at the fact that right now it's a rut that we're in, which is crazy because we have so many shooters. So it's like, wow, every single one of our shooters is like in a rut, if that makes sense or whatever. And right now, the only ones that's really saving us is Caleb and Henry. Like, and I said it before the season even started. If Caleb Wilson, and I might be over exaggerating when I said this, but I said if Caleb Wilson averages 20 plus points a game, that is a problem for us. And to be honest with you, I still believe that. Now,
I'm not saying that. Yeah.
I'm not saying that that he's not going to get his numbers, because yes, get your numbers for sure. But however, at the same time, we have so many other parts around him to where right now, when teams are preparing and prepping for Carolina, the first thing they're doing is basing everything off of Carolina. Everything else, it's like, okay, maintain Caleb. Everything else we can figure it out, basically, because right now we're not scoring from the outside. And to me, that is the biggest issue right now. Like I'm from that Shammond Williams, Donald Williams, Joe Forte, Wayne Ellington, Kenny Williams, all of these great shooters that we've had, and the list just goes on and on. And to me, we have to get better in that scoring field, because we have too many for us to not be scoring at the moment. Now, at the schedule wise, that like you mentioned with the schedule, I think that's where we should have been with this non-conference. We should have been really, 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 really working on that, because now we're in conference play and the margin for error is very slim, very slim. So, when you're playing these East Tennessee States and and Central Arkansas and Radfords and all of these ECUs and everything. You should be working on all of that. All of that should be in place, working it out throughout the game. Like shoot. And right now, that's our biggest downfall. Now, once that score, if that happens and we can get on track to where we actually need to be when it comes to that shooting and the scoring, this team is going to be very dangerous. And I've said it before, and I'll continue to say that. And, I'm just basing things off of the eye test. Of course, I always dig into the numbers, but I've been watching basketball for so long. So I mean, the eye test, it's not going to lie either, if that makes sense.
Right.
So that's just how I look at things. And I mean, I don't know where to go from here, because now we're in conference play, and it's like, I mean, every game is critical. Every game is critical. Like you said, we got a big game coming up on Saturday, and that's critical. It's going to be critical, and especially in a totally different environment, like on the road and all of that. I'm just we got to figure some things out. We just do.
And I think, to your point too, with the eye test and the numbers, like me, I've been a coach for a few years too, and done some stuff with EYBL and been a college D1 graduate assistant. And when we look at all that stuff too, the first thing we always go to is our eye test. Because if you play basketball and you coach basketball, you watch basketball, you know what you see on the court. And 9 times out of 10, you are going to see the eye test is going to match what the metrics and the numbers tell you. That's how I view it. You want the numbers to back up what you're seeing. And if they don't, okay, then we really got to look, because something's not making sense. So you want them to match up straight up. That's what you want. That's the thing with this Carolina team as far as the shooting goes. I think you said shooters shoot, and I completely agree. Numbers play out. Like, they eventually will even out, and I think the Carolina numbers on the three-point shooting will even out. Right now, they're 230th in the country in three-point shooting percentage. It's horrible.
That's horrible.
But part of that problem, and we did a video on this in the Michigan State game, the shots that they're taking from the three-point line are not great shots. A lot of them are step back threes off the dribble, or clock's running down, we got to dribble, throw something up, right? There's a difference. And if we look at, even just take that Michigan State game, or some of the teams that are shooting really well from threes, there's a huge number of kick out threes, transition threes, and shots off the catch and shoot. And that, to me, is where it's like you said, in the games like the Radford games, the East Tennessee States, we won't shoot well until those are the types of threes we're taking. I like Luka a lot, but a lot of his threes are step back threes, and he's just short on a lot of them. The Michigan State game, and the reason why I know this is because we made a video on it. We had about 8 threes in that game that was missed. Bruh, as soon as they took the shot, they were backpedaling. They were falling off bounds before the thing even hit the rim. And if you're a shooter, bro, you've got to stay in your mechanics. And 9 times out of 10, when you start getting fatigued, you got to jump into a shot if you want that thing to really get up and get a chance. If I'm backpedaling late in the second half, bro, I'm going to miss that thing more times than not. And that's what I think we're seeing from their three-point shooting. They're good shooters, but I think they're taking bad shots. And when you have guys like Caleb and Henry, teams have to double. If a team is gonna sit and play one-on-one against them in the paint, they're gonna get cooked. We see that those two are fantastic right now, but that needs to be part of that. Needs to help the shooting dynamic, because as soon as that double comes, bro, just set up your spot. Trust Caleb and Henry to kick it out to you, catch and pull that thing. Powell, I think, has done a good job at that. He's been really, really good off the bench. He's getting that catch and shoot threes, and I think he's doing well, and he's earning more minutes, as he should be. Evans, and the last game against Florida State, we saw that when he was catching and shooting, he was ripping. As soon as he dribbled it and took that shot, it was an air ball, and that thing barely hit the rim. And I'm like, bro, just stay in your shooting position and be ready to unload. So that's what I think with the shooting aspect of this. That's what I think the problem is. And again, we're in January. Like, that should be corrected at this point. And as far as the conference things goes, like you said, because Carolina doesn't have a resume like a Arizona, like a Duke. I'm sorry, I got to throw Duke in there, but it is because they don't have a resume like Arizona, UConn, and Duke right now, and even a Gonzaga or Michigan, they are in situations that are must wins and can't lose from basically the rest of this year on. There's no game where we can go in and say, all right, you know what, if they lose it, it's not that big of a deal. Because I would feel stressed right now with UNC because we don't really have a lot of cash in the bank. If they go lose at SMU, then it's going to be, oh my goodness, now we're in this situation of what is going on with the team, what are we doing from this point on. Now the Duke games feel bigger, now the Louisville games feels bigger, now the Virginia game feels bigger. There's no room for error, like you said, and that's a tough place to be for this Carolina team right now.
Yeah, I'm debating if I want to just jump into this conversation now, or if I wanted to maybe save it just for a little bit like later on in the show. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say it is what it is. So, and I want to get your opinion on this because I actually wanted to ask you this, and I was waiting to get you on the show to ask you this, of course. But Jonathan Powell, Seth Trimble, Luka Bogovic, Cayenne Evans. If you want to come off the bench, Jaden Young. That's about it right there. Those five, right? Jonathan, I have issues with every single one of them. Number one, like you said, we're taking bad shots.
Yep.
That's just hands down. If I'm not mistaken, the game with Florida State was what? Like the first 3 or 4 possessions were all 3-point shots. And to me, I think we're taking too many. I think that they're just relying on it too much instead of trying to penetrate a little bit and settle for the set twos. Like there's nothing wrong with jump shots. Like everything, every shot, but other than what Vazar and what Caleb is doing, doesn't have to be a 3. And it just seems like that's the direction that all of this has just been looking like. Like, and it's right now, that's not it. That's just not it. I've noticed that Jonathan Powell, 9 times out of 10, or most of the time, when he's in that corner, it's going in.
Yep.
Doesn't matter which corner it is on either end of the court. But he's not making any shots anywhere else outside that 3-point line. Nope. He's not. He's just not. I mean, we can go back, and those are the facts. That's just what it is. Bogovic, he looks like he's out of control a lot of the times. Like there was a lot of plays last night where it was like when we're looking at that game. Well, whatever night that was, but
yeah, 2 nights ago.
Yeah, a couple nights ago. But there was a couple plays. He was just out of control getting to the basket. A couple of the guys might have been open or something like that. And it's like, I think instead of letting the game come to him, I think he looks like he's forcing it too much.
Yeah. And then he doesn't play defense. He's a traffic cone on defense.
Oh, my
So
God.
that's where it's like, if you're not scored and you're turning the ball over and not finding open guys and you don't play defense, there's nowhere on the court I can put you. There's only one seat for you, and it's next to me. That's it.
Exactly. So, and then when we start moving on, right? Like, okay, Seth Trimble. I love Trimble. I've always said it, and I'll say it again. I love Trimble, but for if he was going to be that go-to guy, and I said it before the season started, if Trimble is going to be that guy for us, I need the shooters to shoot. Everything else Trimble does well. Everything. Great defender. He can penetrate, get to the basket. He's a great free throw shooter. Like everything else he does well. And I just wanted his 3-point shooting numbers to go up. Like that's just what it was. And from what I heard, the money that we gave him, things like that. If we're gonna do all of that, then I need you to that's what I want to see from you. Cayenne, I think Cayenne's issue is, and this is something that I've said here lately, play him off the ball for a little bit.
Yeah,
like
he's not a point guard.
Yeah, play him off the ball, let him get consistent and comfortable with his shot. And then if you need to, you can kind of rotate him in that one position. Oh, I forget about Derek Dixon. I don't know how I forgot about Dixon. Lord have mercy. But play him off, play him at the 2 spot. Let him do some high screen action, whatever. Come off some picks, things like that or whatever, just so that he can get comfortable with his shot because he can shoot it. I mean, 40% last year. I mean, listen, you can't deny those numbers. So he can shoot it, but I think that it's a little bit too much pressure for him at that one spot and trying to run the team as well. When I think that, if you put him in that two spot, let him play off ball and let him just kind of, come off screens or whatever, get some set shots and things like that. It'll build up his confidence a lot more. And I think that he'll just get a whole lot better. Derek Dixon is just going to be a stud. Like, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I've been high on Dixon before when he was in his recruiting process with Carolina. So for him to be 6'5" combo guard, he can do both. He can play the 1, he can play the 2. It don't matter. Like he's a freshman though. So I can't give and say too much about him. And then you got Jaden Young. To me, I think might need a little bit more playing time just because of the fact that he's got that ACC experience already just coming from Virginia Tech. So he already knows the ACC, but he's just in a different system. Now, can he shoot? Yeah, he can shoot it. But I just think that, he could be one of those guys that could be like another Seth Trimble. Penetrate, get to the basket, set twos, just things like that or whatever. I just think that this team is taking too many threes, and that's what's killing them right now. And I could be wrong, but I mean, I want to get your thought on that, on everything that I just said about that.
I'll start with the Dixon thing because that's something I've been on a lot, honestly, on my channel and conversations with people. I genuinely think he should be the starting point guard. Now,
I agree.
Look, you could say he's a freshman, all that stuff. Look, bro, it don't matter. And truth be told, in this situation, I think if Dixon continues on the trajectory he is right now at Carolina, he won't be at Carolina next year. Like, we see people who are extremely talented that are at UNC not utilized in the right situation. They hit that transfer portal, and then you see him elsewhere, and you're like, man, this kid can actually play. Why was he not here? Why was he not developed here? And then look, that's a big call. I understand that. That's a big statement. But to me, I would rather, especially with the schedule that they've been playing. Look, I will take my bumps and bruises to get Dixon in the starting lineup right now. And if there are freshman moments where you've just you teach him and you develop him, I think you are more likely to keep him for next season. Now you've got that guard, but we're going to be in this situation next year if he returns back, because that's something you got to think about. This transfer portal, you don't think there's people already in that kid's ear talking about, bro, you could go play over here. We'll get you a starting position over here. It's already turning. He's a what was it, Gatorade Player of the Year, right, in DC?
Yeah.
So it's like, look, man, there's definitely going to be people talking to him, and that's where it's just like we've seen Elliot Cadeau leave Carolina now and doing really good at Michigan. We've seen Tyler. You see Tyler Nicola at Vanderbilt. I'm like, where?
The biggest one is Cade Tyson right now.
And Cade is another one. Cade is another one where you're like, bro, where was this at Carolina? Now, I think a mix of that is the situation. The lights are bright at North Carolina. We understand that. That's what it is. But I think an element too is, are you getting put in positions that help you versus positions that are hindering your growth? And I think we see that sometimes at Carolina over the last couple of years. But as far as Dixon goes, to me, the starting lineup should be Dixon, Trimble, Jaren, Henry, and Caleb, in whatever formation you want to go with those two. But the problem with that is you then have no rotation for Henry and Caleb, because right now Jaren's coming off the bench to help those two get some sort of a breather, because I don't know what's happened with Zay Nye and James Brown, but they look like they can't play basketball anymore at the University of North Carolina. So that's where it's hard, because now Jaren's coming off the bench, because you have to have some piece of a rotation for Henry and Caleb, because they can't play 38 minutes a night. And that then pushes Evans or Luka into that starting position. And in that game against FSU, I think he started Evans and Luka and had
Yes.
Seth with them, and then Henry and Caleb. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Now, because we don't have that, which again brings me to another problem I've had with Carolina that I've expressed. This NIL money that's been put in, it's reportedly $13 million, which would put them 8th highest in college basketball.
Right.
I don't know how you have that type of money, and we have to sit here in January and have a conversation about, is there a starting point guard and why is there no big depth? That's one of the big questions I have on this, because it's like, we got better absolutely from last year's team, but we're looking at this money that's being spent. And it's like, if someone that knows basketball, how do we not have a true point guard, and how do we have nobody to back up Henry and Caleb? And that's where I think when we get to the end and we get to March, if they play a team like a UConn and even maybe a Florida, who I don't think Florida's had the best season, but if we get in a situation where a team is really physical with Henry and Caleb, and one of them get in foul trouble, and they can come wave after wave after wave with physicality and bigs, that is where I'm like, look, man, this is a scary situation. And the last thing with it, and I promise you, this is not just some hate record on Carolina, because I do think that it has been a lot better. It's just, we've got to have an honest conversation. What has been the most consistent thing about UNC under Hubert Davis? And it has been slow start after slow start after slow start after slow start.
Yeah.
If we play a slow start against a Michigan, an Arizona, a UConn, it is in the realm of possibilities. It's 20-7 in about 5 to 6 minutes. And now we don't have bench depth, right? Now we don't have bigs to come give these guys a breather. Now y'all going to play 35 minutes against the top tier team in the country. And that's where it's just like, we've got to pump the brakes. We are not at the level in which we can play multiple different styles. We can play multiple different guys. If Caleb and Henry have an off night, bro, y'all might as well pack it up and go home. Because we're not going to be, we don't have the type of guys that can withstand that. So I think all of that is just, there's a lot of questions with this team. And the concern for me is, the standard to me at Carolina is to be in that Final Four conversation. And we did one of our videos, we talked about what makes a team like a legit Final Four contender. What is the difference this year between an Arizona, a Michigan, a UConn, a Gonzaga, teams like that right now? And they can play fast, they can play slow, they can go big, they can go small. They got bench depth, they got a true point guard. And those are the things where, you talked about seeding in March and matchups, they're so important. But if you have a team that can play multiple different styles, hey, I'll take us up against anyone. Carolina right now, we need a perfect matchup to go on that run. We can't just show up and be like, it don't matter who you put in front of us, we're going to compete and we're going to be fine. Arizona, Michigan, UConn, Gonzaga, those teams can look at whoever you put on the other side. We might lose, but it's not going to be a situation where we just didn't have the horses, or we couldn't play this style, we get ran out of the gym. And I know Gonzaga lost to Michigan by 40, but if you look at that game, Michigan shot 50% from the three. If you play a team that shoots 50% from the three, you going home that night. That's just how that is. That's just how it is. It don't matter who it is at any point in time. If somebody shoots in one of the games, Michigan over that week in Vegas, they shot 55% from the 3-point line. I think it was against San Diego State. You're like, bro, what are you supposed to do, man? What are you supposed to do?
I mean, you can't stop it. Like that's just insane right there. Like, I mean, listen, teams go on their runs, and I listen. Michigan is they look really good now.
They look scary, bro.
They do look scary. They do look scary. But my thing is, now we really gonna see what they're made of, because if you ask me, they haven't really played anybody like that during the non-conference. Like, their schedule looked like Carolina's a little bit. So now, we're going to see what they really, really made of against the Purdue's and the Illinois and Michigan States. And
on a night-to-night basis, because that's different too. When you doing it night-to-night, which that's what I think someone like Evans, right? Or even, bring up another person, Xavier Lee at Florida, making that transfer from Harvard to the SEC, it's a big gap. Now, I can get it going maybe every once in a blue moon and give you 25 points when we play a big team if I'm at Harvard. But like you said, if it's on a night-to-night basis, that's a different animal. That's being ready for the ACC. But Jaden Young, like you said, is going to understand that. He knows what it's like to play in the ACC. There is, while the conference might not be what it was, there's no off nights. Like, you can't go into any matchup, honestly, and be like, look, we ain't got to worry about this. The Carrier Dome in February, look, if they're rocking, you don't want to be part of that. We just saw Georgia Tech go to Duke and shoot 70% up until the second half. Every team in the ACC is capable of winning. So that's why you can't have those moments. And it's tough as a guard because you got to figure that stuff. I think the most difficult position is the guard position to make a jump from a mid-major like the Mountain West Conference to coming to an ACC or a Big Ten, because the guards are huge. They're physical. The refs let you play. It's a totally different ball game. And that's what I think. I think that's part of what we're seeing with Evans, even though the competition hasn't been top tier, is still a bit of a step up from what his non-conference usually was at Colorado State, and then versus what they got into in the conference. So, but I'm gonna give you this. All right, I'm gonna give you this about this Carolina team, and I'm just gonna give you some numbers. I'm not gonna tell you what point I'm trying to make, but I'm just gonna give you some information. All right.
Okay. Let's roll.
We talked about the 3-point shooting. 230th in the country is North Carolina right now from the 3-point line. All right. Transition points, which I think this team has a lot of athleticism and would be great to see them get up and down. But you got to have bench depth, right, to be able to run like that. It's tiring. You got to have that. And I don't think we have it. But guys like Seth, Caleb, all of them should be getting up and down. Carolina's 120th in the country right now in transition points. It's not great.
No.
We've got 10 games that are in the quad 3 and quad 4 sector, which is more than anybody in the top 25 of the AP ranking, of the coaches poll, or the net, whatever you want to look at. It's the most out of anybody else. The only team with more, no, it's not good. The only team with more is LSU, and they got a quad 1 win. They're also 12-1, but ain't nobody talking about them being this high profile team or getting to a Final Four of a championship. Carolina's strength of schedule is 5th in the ACC. Clemson, Virginia State, Duke, they've all played tougher schedules than Carolina up to this point within the ACC. They're 18th in the net. They're 18th in the net, which I think is fair. If I had to truly rank this team, that's where I would put them, is somewhere in that 15 to 20 range. But they're 18th in the net, and if Ohio State loses another game, they're already in the 40th right now. That game drops out of the quad 1. So you're in a situation where what we've talked about, the record, the numbers, everything is not looking great, because if that Ohio State game drops out of quad 1, I think that brings Carolina down to 1-1 in quad 1 games. No, 2-1, because they got Kansas, because I think Kansas will stay in the top 30.
That's right.
But we need them to stay in the top 30. And if Darren Peterson gets hurt, they could be a 500 team in the Big 12. So who knows how that finishes out. Kentucky was on the road, so as long as they stay top 50, I believe, and I think they will stay top 50, because I think they'll just get better and better. I think we played them at their worst, but they're going to get better and better.
Yeah.
You might have one quad 1 win out of this whole first 15 games, and that's scary when we get to March. Don't lose to Pitt, and we know what Pitt be doing to us. We can't lose to Pitt. We can't struggle at Georgia Tech. We can't, it's just scary because, like you said earlier, there is no room for error. We have no room for error. I think they lose to well, we'll get into conference preview, so I won't go too far. But that's what's scary. But I'm gonna give you those numbers. That's where we're at Carolina right now. That's why I have questions about them. That's why I'm just like, pump the brakes on this team a little bit, being a Final Four contender.
Listen. This is why I'm glad that I had you on the show, Jordan. Because I mean, you drop the numbers like that or whatever, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had the time to look those numbers up.
Yeah.
But now that you of course, perfect timing. That you just happened to join, and we discussed it. So I mean, but mentioning that and mentioning these numbers, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I think that this I'm with you on, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit, things like that. But to be honest with you, I don't know a lot of people that and I mean, we're probably in of course in two different type circles, and everything, but I haven't heard a lot of people that have been saying like, yo, this team is Final Four, stuff like that. Certainly not in the media. Nobody, as a matter of fact, if you really ask me, a lot of people are still bashing North Carolina more so than anything. And I look at things. This schedule was nowhere near what it was last season. I mean, when you got the Florida and Alabamas and Auburn's and all of these that we played, Kansas, all of these teams that we played, Michigan State's, all of that last year versus the East to the States, the Radfords, the ECUs, and the St. Bonaventures and stuff, who I think is a decent team, by the way. But, I mean, when you got these games versus those games, this schedule was cheeks. If we just gonna be honest and be blunt about it,
yeah.
And I mean, I'm with you because I just think that I do think that iron sharpens iron, and I do think that the team will get better. It's just right now, no room for error. There's no room for error, and you're in conference play, and it gets tougher now, which we're gonna jump over to in regards to the schedule and everything here in a second, but it just gets tougher. And now we really finna see what the team is made of. And, by you putting out those numbers or whatever, like you said, the room for error is even smaller in my eyes, like hearing these types of things, like, the Ohio State situation, which I never really deemed Ohio State to be that much of a quad one game, to be honest. I always thought that, now don't get me wrong, they're tough, and that Ohio State game should have been more of a blowout than what it was. I think,
absolutely.
and I did my episode on Mr. Kelly Pfeiffer, the one of the officials or whatever, for that game or whatever. I did an episode on that or whatever, and I just kind of put it out there on how I felt about it. But to me, that game wasn't even close, to be honest. It's just, the officiating was horrible. And I mean, but I never deemed them to be a Q1 at all. And I mean, hey, like you said, Kentucky and Kansas are going to be there.
Right.
Michigan State, even though it's a loss, I mean, it still kind of goes on that type of resume. I wish we would have had it. I wish we would have won that game, but it's still, on a neutral court, things like that. Like, they're going to look at that type of stuff.
Right.
Just because of the fact, like, hey, it wasn't on your home court or anything like that. Like, playing on the neutral court and losing still matters sometimes. And,
right.
And I think a lot of people don't really realize that and look at that or whatever. So, but I'm right there with you. Now that you break it down like that or whatever, I'm definitely right there with you. In regards to the bench, my starters, let me just say this for real quick. My starters, I'm going with Evans and Trimble, and give me Jonathan Powell with Caleb and Vazar. I think Powell is a much better defender than Bogovic.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, and let me just say this now, because I'm sure that a lot of people are going to see this, whatever the case may be. I was never high on Bogovic. I just wasn't.
There's a ton of hype.
A lot of hype. And that's no knock to the young man, like, at all. I don't want nobody to think that I'm bashing him or whatever the case may be, or discrediting him or anything like that. But I was never high on him. I've never been high on international players. So it's nothing towards Bogovic. I'm glad that he's here. I hope that he prospers and does well and gets better with the team and everything. I just wasn't high on him. And to be honest with you, right now, at this point, he has not impressed me.
Yeah. Well, real quick too, when I was because I did time. I spent time. Sometimes it felt like I did time at Central Michigan, but I spent time at Central Michigan And we had international guys come in, and I will get this to somewhat defend Luka. It is really difficult to leave your home country, and he had already been, I think, in Spain, right? So it wasn't like he was even coming from home. He had been around a couple different countries to get here. You get approved late to play, not until the night of the first game, and you're forced to basically learn a new culture, a new system, a new society, all that stuff. So a lot of international guys do struggle when they first get over here. This is, and I think this is what you're saying. It's not saying this kid can't play basketball or be really good next year or even for the next 2-3 years, however many years of eligibility he has. But a lot of international guys do struggle, and it's tough for them. I think throwing him into the starting lineup like he has been, and the hype that a lot of fans and media gave him, set him up again for failure when you got to give that kid a little bit more time. So I'm right there with you on that. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. And like you said, right now, I don't know what it is, but I'm still high on James Brown for some reason. I think there's something in him, and I was actually talking to who was I talking to? I was talking to, I think it might have been Mike Copeland, or somebody. Might have been Ray Terry. I think it was Ray Sean Terry. And I told him, I said, listen, the problem with Brown is last year he did not have someone to really help him with his game. Like Jalen Washington was not going to be that guy to help him.
Right.
Like I said, iron sharpens iron, right? So Jalen wasn't going to be that one to help him. And so he never got the development that I think he actually needed to grow as a player. Same thing is happening this year. There's no agility. Like he doesn't have that footwork like Armando Bacot. He might have the size, but he don't have that footwork. Like he cannot, he's not agile. So it's that's what holds him back. But for some reason I'm still high on him because I just think that I think he has a better game than Zayden High. Now, granted, Zayden High can step out and shoot the three, but Zayden High looks lost on the court. Like
I don't know why Zayden High was ever brought back. I'll put that straight out there, and I had it on my channel. I don't know why in the world Hubert Davis brought him back for a multitude of reasons. For a multitude of reasons, I'm not sure why he came back. But
I'm right. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. But you know, I've even said this, and I know that it's not going to happen, but I would love to see the combination of Vezar and Matt Lakovich on the court, just even if it's for a couple of minutes or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
but two 7-footers, you know, 1 7-foot, 1 7-2 on the court like that. You put Matt Lakovich at the 5, you put Vezar at the 4 because Vezar can shoot the 3. I just want to see it.
Yeah, just see him. Has he? I don't think he's played 1 minute this year.
He's played because he played in the ECU game. That's where Elijah hit the 3. And I mean he scored right before that. As a matter of fact, he scored the basket right before that. Like, but now I'm not saying that he's agile either, because from the play that I saw, I mean he didn't look as agile as he probably could be or whatever. But I just want to see that. Let it just to be disruptive. But right now, like you said, the only reason I would love for Stevenson to stay at the 3 because of the fact that he's so versatile to be able to guard 1 through 5. But however, like you said, where's the depth going to come from in the front court coming off the bench? Like we just don't we don't have it. So I mean, I guess it fits for Stevenson to be that 6th or 7th guy to come off the bench or whatever, behind him and Derek Dixon probably flipping spots. And you know, I just but Jonathan Powell, I think he's an outstanding defender. And
he's got dog in him, and he's got dog in him, and that will look. And as my years in coaching and all that stuff, if you got dogs, you find a way on the court. Like you get them on the basketball court because you never worry about them playing hard, putting on the jersey with a sense of pride. And Jonathan Powell's got that all the way through. He is an absolute dog. I think he probably is the biggest dog, so to speak, on the team right now. Caleb Wilson's there too. No knock to him, but Powell has been an absolute. I love watching him. I love him. He's been one of my favorites this year.
Yeah. He's actually my X Factor player for this year or whatever. But the only thing that I don't understand is, and that's what I thought that coming into the season, that's what Coach Davis was going to do, and he didn't. So it has my mind to wonder a little bit in regards to you had these Radford, Central Arkansas, Navy, or was it Army? It was one of them. I know it was Navy.
It was Navy. But that was a close game late.
Yeah, it was. But you had the ECUs, all of these bottom tier type teams, if you ask me. And the thing that I was looking for and what I thought that he was going to do was switch the lineups up for like each game.
See what works.
See what works. Start Powell, start Stevenson, start Bogovich, start Dixon. Change the lineups up.
Yeah.
And that, like you said, see what works. And he didn't do it. And I think that could be something that could come back to bite him in the end. It could be.
But we've seen that, right, with these teams that, every team that we basically have besides maybe that 22-23 group, it was a really short bench. There was basically the starting five, maybe one other person came in, and then that was it. We never saw the rest of those guys develop through the year. Because to me, it's just like deja vu. We have the conversation over and over again. Got to develop these guys. Got to develop these guys. Get them battle tested. We need them for March. We need them for conference, and we just don't do it for whatever reason. We just don't do it. And to you with the lineup thing, I think it was the Florida State game, and I'm pretty sure the lineup that really broke that game open was, I think, Dixon, Seth, Powell, and maybe it might have been Caleb and Jaron, or it was Henry and Caleb. But like you said, like when Powell's in there, man, good things happen. And that's where it's like, okay, I see some tweaking. You trying to figure out the roster, the rotation, and your hands you're tied because you don't have a ton of options, like you said. But I'm with you on that. I think Powell, he's your X factor, and I'm with you on that. He's a big deal for this team.
Absolutely, and I think he's going to get better. My only thing is just cut down on shooting threes so much, because Powell looks like he can get to the basket and as far as like set twos and things like that, like everything doesn't have to be a three. That's one of my biggest concerns. And Bogovich, it's hard to say when it comes to him. And like you said, I think he's having a hard time adjusting. Yeah. And like you said, it may take a little bit more time. That he may not really get adjusted until next month. And when you're coming to a school like North Carolina from overseas or whatever, it's definitely going to take some time adjusting. And who's to say that he knows full English right now? From some of the interviews, some of the guys even say that, hey, sometimes I be trying to figure out what he be saying, and so it could be a language barrier thing that's going on as well. But we just gotta wait and see. But I'm right there with you, and we just figure things out. We'll figure things out, and hopefully this team can keep going. And prevail in these wins. Yeah. That's the big key. So we'll see. So okay, so now that we done got the most of that out of the way, I wanna bring this up. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Let's add this to the stage. I'm gonna remove the comments right quick. And we're gonna look at this. Is that too small for you, or can you see that?
I got it. I got it pulled up on my screen too. The rest of the schedule. So we're good. You can leave that right there. That's good.
Got you. All right. So my question for you is, let me see something. Can I make that bigger?
That works a little bit.
Yeah, we good with that. As long as you got it up, I got it up, and everything, and we should be good. By the way, everybody, before we continue to keep going, listen, I need everybody to make sure that y'all hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, man. Telling all the family, friends. I mean, I got Jordan in the building with me today. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we just chopping it up on some UNC stuff, man. So make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this, and get it out to everybody, man. So we can push this episode into the algorithms and everything, man. So we got some good content going on here. So all right, Jordan, I need to know. Give me your thoughts on this schedule. Of course, I mean, I was trying to do it before the Florida State game, but hey, it is what it is. We got the win, so I'm cool with that. So, but give me your thoughts on this schedule, man. What do you think about this?
I think the last, maybe I'm gonna just guess on that number 10 is a bit scary. I think at SMU, Wake, you make your Northern California trip, and Cal's a little bit better than people think, but I think that's still be a win. Notre Dame, if Marcus Burton doesn't come back, I think that team is really going to struggle. But it's that little bit, right, where you go at Virginia, at Georgia Tech, you got Syracuse, Duke, Miami, Pitt, for whatever reason, has always just gives us problems. At NC State, that game's going to be juiced up and charged. You go to the Carrier Dome, Louisville, Vitek, Clemson, and at Duke again. It's where, if there's a wobble, if there's a shake, that's where it's going to be. I think in that last little bit. And there's games that I would still say, look, they need to be winning. They need to be beating Syracuse. They need to be beating Pittsburgh, especially this year. But Miami, what Jay Lucas has done down there, and defensively, that is a really solid team. That's not going. I don't think that'll be a cupcake.
Did
Louisville,
they win?
they did. They ended up coming back. Yep. They went on like some 25-point swing and ended up winning that game by double digits.
Like 13-2 right now, right? 12-2, 13-2.
Yeah, something like that. They look good. And two of their losses, I think the two losses they have, it was BYU and maybe it was Dayton. Which both teams, to me, Dayton's a tournament team. They're really good. They're one of the best mid-majors in the country. But my thing with that was we did a quick thing on Miami. They're not giving up. I think it's 70, but they're not giving up 70. They're just not doing it. And Jay Lucas was the defensive catalyst for Duke the last year. So we know that's his bread and butter. So it's just a team that I think is going to be difficult. Going to Miami is tough. I personally cannot wait. Of all the games that is on that schedule, I cannot wait for the trip to Raleigh, because it's needed. It's needed. And it's a team. I was watching NC State. I'll be honest with you. I do like watching them cats play, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what Kadir is going to do. They going to have some flashy dimes, right? All that stuff. And then he going to throw one into the 10th row. You're just like, bro, what are you doing, man? But you know how Wolfpack fans are. You know how it's going to be in the PNC. That, and then the Van Allen-Lubin thing, which is why that rivalry needs to be kept at 2 games a year. ACC needs to fix that. Don't give us 1 game of that every year. That needs to be 2. But that's the game to me, man. I do like them a lot through the ACC schedule. I think they can lose both games to Duke and Louisville and still be okay on that 4-5. If they end up going 15-3 in the conference, get the 3rd seed in the ACC, I think that puts them at 4th or 5th in March Madness, which is probably where they need to be. I think if they hit 4 losses in the conference, though, that's where it's going to be scary. So, and that means they win at Virginia. It means they win at NC State. It means they win at Syracuse, at Miami. And if they're doing things like that, then I think you can say, okay, you know what, this team does look a lot better than maybe what I at least thought going into it. But that's my take on it. I just can't wait for February 17th. I cannot wait for that game, regardless of what happens, man. It's gonna be an absolute movie in Raleigh. I'm gonna have to go to that game. I will have to go to that game, because that's gonna be a fun one.
Listen, I before I get into the rest of the schedule, I will say that I have been to a North Carolina and NC State game at the PNC Arena, and at that time it was the RBC Center.
Yep,
that was
throwback.
Yeah, that was the one where Marcus Page, the layup with him and TJ Warren was going back and forth with each other. And like, yeah, I was at that game, and let me tell you, when we won that game, before we won the game, my pops told me, he was like, listen, 'cause I was there with him and my uncle. He was like, listen, if we win this game, keep your mouth closed and let's go straight to the car.
You gotta get home safe, brother.
Yeah, we had to get home safe. So of course I had to abide by the rule or whatever, because that's Pop Deuce talking to me, and of course I get out there and talk some trash or whatever, but I'm not gonna put him in no tough situation either. So, but yes, I am absolutely looking forward to that game. I think that everybody on the team has that game marked on their calendar. Especially Caleb, that's probably going to be on the screensaver. And I'm cool with that.
But it makes that scary. What makes that scary though?
What's that?
They play Pitt before. So that Pitt game already feeling like, oh, we gonna look over that. We won at Miami. Like, I could easily see that situation, right? We won at Miami. We got at NC State coming up in a few days. That's where our mind is. We overlook Pitt, and we're in some 72-70 barn burner in the Dean Dome against Pitt, which we should never be in. But it's just that Pitt game always scares me. But I don't know what it is with Capel, bro. He really don't like Carolina.
That's a good one. That's a really good assessment. I cannot lie to you, man. Now that I'm looking at, listen, I don't know, Jordan. I got to be honest, man. Like, listen.
Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
You got me scared now. Like, listen, I don't know if I got to let you come back on the show. I'm messing with you, though. I'm kidding with you. I'm really kidding with you, because you got me scared now. Like, breaking down what you broke down about the team in the earlier topic, in the earlier segment, and then looking at this schedule. I look at this schedule now totally different than what I've been looking at. Because, okay, at SMU, I think we get that win.
Agreed.
Wake Forest, I think we get that win.
Definitely should be. Wake does not look very good this year. They almost look worse than what they did at the beginning of the year.
Facts. At Stanford is going to be tough, because I think they're 11-2 right now, 12-2, something like that.
They got a bad loss. They lost to Seattle U. Shout out to the Hawks, though, because they actually recruited me out of high school. But they did lose. Stanford lost to Seattle U. That's a bad loss.
Yeah, but didn't they? Who did they play today? Was it today? They played Notre Dame, right? Wasn't that Notre Dame?
That was a couple nights ago, and they lost that one. They lost that one 47-40.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. At Cal, I think we get that win. Notre Dame, I think we get that win, regardless of whether Burton is playing or not.
Yep. Agreed.
At Virginia, at Georgia Tech, that's where it gets tricky.
Yep.
Because Virginia is no slouch. Georgia Tech, we seen what they just did with Duke. Even though they lost, they only lost by 6. By the way, they had that game won.
Yep.
And of course, referees going to do what they do in Cameron. But
it's
that's
Cameron,
another story for another day. I just don't get it, but I get it. I get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
Syracuse, one of them sleeper teams, a dark.
Oh yeah. My boy, because that Syracuse team, man, we on our channel, we made them the league pass team of the ACC. Look, you got a free night in January, February. Throw them brothers on, man. You're going to have fun. It's going to be entertaining. They might be down 20. They might be up 20. But either way, you're going to be entertained. And that's what that team is. So they're fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then we got Duke, whom I think we split with this year. And then, like you said, at Miami, I'm not really concerned about the Pitt game. Now, I'm not concerned about the Pitt game. And then at State, at Syracuse, Louisville at home, Virginia Tech, I think we beat them, of course. And by the way, I do think that we beat Louisville. I think
Okay.
I don't think Louisville has a front court like that can hang with Caleb and Henry. Like that's just me. Now guard play, that backcourt,
Yeah,
they tough. They tough.
yeah,
But I think we have enough to be able to sustain and get
yeah.
a win from them. I'm not
And you
worried
like
about
that that's at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that that's at home. And Louisville, they're two bigs, Frew and then Khalifa, which is one of the transfers from BYU. They're big, but they're very unorthodox in the way that they play. And so that's where it's either going to really frustrate Henry and Caleb or they're going to have absolutely nothing for them. Like it's going to be one of the two. And I'm with you. I think it leans more towards they're not going to have anything for them. Especially at that point in the season, I think that Henry and Caleb will just get better and better and better at playing with each other. So I'm with you on. I wouldn't be. That's a coin flip game, but it's at home. You gotta. That's good that it's at home and it's not at the Yum Center for sure.
I tell you this, going back to the Virginia Georgia Tech, you see anything wrong with that? You see, does anything bother you or scare you about that? Just them two.
What, it's a week apart?
A week apart.
Yep.
That week, that whole week, not playing. You know, you might get that week virus that they call or whatever they call that or whatever, you know, having that week off or whatever. Like that's the reason why the at Georgia Tech, that one bothers me. Now, Virginia, we'll probably get that. I'm hoping we do. We should, but Virginia's going to be a tough out. They're going to be a tough out. But
it's a domino effect. It's a domino effect because I think, which this sounds dumb saying, but it's true, and you'll know the difference. If you beat Virginia and you beat Georgia Tech, like you go back to back, you win those games, I think that sets you up to probably blow out Syracuse. You probably in a dogfight with Duke. Maybe you look good in Miami. But if you drop the Virginia Georgia Tech, it's a domino effect where it's like, okay, now these games mean even more. Now there's more pressure. Now we got too much time. Like that's where it's scary because if y'all are rocking and rolling and all that stuff and y'all don't lose, and if they lose to Duke, honestly, nobody's really going to blame them. It's not. I think they should be splitting with Duke, and it shouldn't be as bad as last year when we went to Cameron. That was one of the worst games I've ever seen as a Carolina fan. That was bad. But nobody's going to fault you if you drop that game to Duke. But it's those games before, like you talking about. And if you lose to Virginia and you got a whole week to kind of sit on that and let the media talk about that, and these guys can say that they don't listen to the media and all that stuff. We know it's not true. Seth Trimble and comment on one of our things on TikTok. So we know y'all watching this stuff. But it is just like, it's when the loss comes, who is it, and how long is it able to fester? So you're right, man. A week off is really good or it's really bad.
Yeah. And they got 2 quick turnaround games, or 4, really. They got that at Georgia Tech on a Saturday, and then that Monday they play in Syracuse at home. Quick turnaround. Like that's gonna be tough. And then here we go again with Syracuse on Saturday at Syracuse, and then that quick turnaround with Louisville on Monday.
Yeah,
like you got a
that
day
is quick.
practice. Like this schedule is more tougher than I think what a lot of people are overlooking. Like and again, like I said, with the way that you broke it down, it just makes it so it's like
it's tricky.
now like
it's tricky. Yeah,
it's very, very, very tricky, man. Very tricky. All right, so give me your prediction. Because I had a prediction, but now I got to change mine up. I really got to go back and really look at this thing, man.
I think they go 14-4. I think they go 14-4 and they end up a 5 seed in March Madness. I think they drop. I think they drop both to Duke. I think they drop to Louisville, and then they'll lose one game that they should lose. And it's either going to be, it could be the Virginia game, it could be the NC State game. You just hope it's not a Virginia Tech, it's not a Syracuse, it's not a Stanford. Like, you just gotta not lose those games, in my opinion, and it'll be fine. But I wouldn't be surprised 15-3 either. Maybe they just lose to Duke twice and lose to Louisville, and they beat everybody else. And if they do that, that's solid, especially with how the schedule is shaking up. And I think they did get, while it is tricky, I think they did get it favorable in the fact that the NC State games only happening once. You've got your Stanford and Cal trip very, very early, right? Because a lot of teams are getting that in like late February when they're really in the thick of conference play. They got to travel all the way out west. Now, Louisville got really lucky because their first 2 conference games was at Stanford and Cal. So they getting that done right now, and then they don't have to worry about it. But I think they got lucky with that. You only play Virginia once. You only have Miami once. You only got State once. You only got Louisville once. So you did still get somewhat favorable of a schedule. The way it laid out is a little bit tricky. So I'll take 14-4 and be on the safe side. If they lose 5, that's going to be a crisis, in my opinion. And if they go 15-3, I wouldn't be that surprised either, though.
So, you know what? I'm gonna stick to what I had. I'm gonna stick to what I got. I'm gonna stick to the 14-4. I'll stick to the 14-4.
Okay.
And the 4 is that fourth game. I don't know who it would be, but I'm gonna look at it here in a second. But that fourth game is like it's one of them where like we always go somewhere and we play dumb, basically. Like, and just get beat by somebody that we ain't got no business losing to. So, but I say, you know, we lose 1 to Duke.
Because I'm about to get on you on this one, because you told me you got them beating Louisville.
I do.
So you got them beat Louisville, and they beat 1 with Duke. So where are those other 3 losses, man?
Okay, so you lose 1 to Duke.
Okay.
The Virginia game is tricky.
All right.
You got the at Syracuse.
Okay, is that the one you're gonna take that they shouldn't lose and they're going to? Just
no, that's one of the 3.
You just straight up. All right.
That's one of the 3 because Syracuse is just different, man. It's just something about them that bothers me, and we got them twice, and we play them in Chapel Hill first, to where we go to Syracuse, they're gonna be a little upset.
Yeah,
they're gonna be a little upset. So, and that's gonna be tough playing right after going to NC State.
Yep.
So, you know,
it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got one Duke loss, 1 Syracuse loss, 1 the Virginia is a possibility. And now, like I said, looking at Georgia Tech.
Wow.
That Georgia Tech one might be that 4th one that I was talking about. And that's the one losing to somebody that you ain't got no business losing to.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, man, if they do beat Duke and Louisville, that's going to obviously help. But it's going to be tough with the resume they have if they lose to Georgia Tech and Syracuse, because I think both of those teams are really, really – I don't think Georgia Tech and Syracuse are probably not getting in the tournament. So that would be 2 quad 3 losses. That would be tough. It would be tough to – when we get to March, because that's where I think it is so important for them to get as high a seed as possible. If they are at a 6 or 7 seed – they're not getting out the first weekend. If they can get 4 or 5, I give them a shot. But if they drop to Georgia Tech and Syracuse, it's gonna be tough. And I will say, the Georgia Tech game, while it is probably gonna be tough, I like Caleb Wilson to show out in that game. Going back home to Atlanta, he probably gonna have a lot of friends and family there. I do like us in that, but I'm with you. What you saying is not wrong. What you saying is not wrong.
It's that those 4. I got those 4. 1 Duke, 1 at Duke, 1 at Syracuse. Yeah, at Virginia, at Georgia Tech. They all of them on the road. I don't think they lose anything at home.
And that'll be good. That'll be good though. If they do that and clean home the whole year, that is really good.
Yeah, I don't see losing anything at the house or whatever. So, but I mean, this schedule is very tricky.
It is tricky.
Goodness.
And that's where you want the non-con stuff to have some of those battle tests. So then when you go into this, you're like, all right, bro, we look, we've already been battle tested. We all right. We gonna be fine. Let's rock and roll through this. But like we talked about earlier, man, when your non-conference looks the way it does, your toughest part of the season is this. Your season getting harder and harder and harder. And a lot of teams, you don't really want that. You want to get battle tested early, navigate conference, and be fully battle tested and ready when you get to March. And the truth is, you don't want it to get tougher and tougher at the end, because then you don't have, like you said, we talked about, you don't have room for error, and then you're worried about okay, we're trying to fix stuff and we got another tough game right 2 days later. We trying to fix these kinks, and then we got another 2 games, and then it's like, oh damn, we actually aren't good at this either. Now we got to get back in the lab. Now you trying to fix 4 things, and then it's at Duke, Miami, NC State, Pitt. You're like, bro, all right, can we pump the brakes a little bit? Can we get an East Tennessee State, please? Can we get a South Carolina upstate game? Yeah. So it's tough.
Yeah. Man, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. Jordan just came on here and just I'm a realist, man. I be thinking about it. I be looking at things in real time, boy. But I ain't gonna lie, you just gave me a whole different perspective on real time. Like, oh my goodness, man. Like, okay, all right. So we gonna have to see. I think we're gonna be all right though, man. I think we're gonna be all right. I just think right now it's things is just, it's a learning experience for us, and we just got a little bit of growing and everything to do, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and I wow.
But it's in the right direction. Like, I can say though, even though I know we just talked about this does look not as good as maybe we thought, they're heading in the right direction. Like, that's what you want to see. And that's where I think you need to hold the standard of Carolina with Carolina fans, whoever is watching this, all the different type of stuff, and the people that I debate constantly in my comments and stuff, or when we go live with the Carolina fans, is we still feel like we're at Duke's level. And I'm going to be honest with you, on a consistent basis, we're not there yet, right? Like, it's just not where we're at. Duke is moving at a different level. If we stay focused and just get better each year, we will get back to where we need to go. And I think Hubert can do that. I think Tanner can do that. I think the resources are there to do that. My only beef is what happens. The reason why programs come crumbling down, whether we've seen it out of Indiana or maybe what's happening to Kentucky this year, is the fan bases get riled up and think the expectation is a national championship every year. And we're just not, that's not where we're at right now. And if those are the standards and that's the realistic approach, you're just setting yourself up for letdown.
Yeah.
And I think, while it's great that Hubert made that national championship run in the first year, I think it also made it extremely difficult, because you follow that up with missing the tournament. You follow that up with a pretty solid group, but the Alabama game was rough in March Madness. And we were 1 seed and we got upset. That's just kind of how it is. The next year, if we call a spade, the only reason we were in that tournament was because Bubba Cunningham was part of that group. So you get in even as an 11 seed. And then this year, the team is not quite as great as I think we are, but because they're 13-1, it's Carolina's back. It's Carolina's back. It's Carolina's back. So that's my thing with the fans, is just, look, appreciate the wins as they come, because in college basketball, it is difficult to win basketball games. It is what it is. So going 13-1 is nothing to, turn your nose up at. But we just have to be, as Carolina fans, real Carolina fans, look, they're better than they were last year. Let's just enjoy this. Let's get back to where we need to be. Let's stop acting like we're better than this program, or we're still up here at the elites. Let's just get better each year to year and see what happens. But it's it's a tough spot, because when I was back home in Atlanta with my dad, we went back and started watching highlights of the 2008 and 9 team and all that different type of stuff. And it was like, man, You had dogs that were from North Carolina that understood what it really meant to play at the university, and it was just so fun to watch. It was just the fast pace, the offensive rebound, all of it just great. Roy throwing the jacket off, getting down the defense, like it was just what I grew up on was great. It was fantastic, and we're not there yet, but that doesn't mean you can't get back. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not every year is great, so that's where I think we just got to slow down, man. And you got a couple of people in the comments. I recognize some of their names. They be talking trash on my channel too, and that's fine. That's fine. I enjoy it. We can get into some banter.
Listen, I love all of that, bro. Like I love all of that. So it like that's nothing to me. Like I love the
Yeah.
ones, like my thing is like, because I don't want people to come. I'm not one of them. Like I do see a couple of names and I'm like, wait a minute, I've never seen that name before, when I do some of my shows and stuff, but I'm not the type that sit up and like block them and all of that and stuff.
No, yeah.
Because I love it. I
Yeah.
love other people's opinions and all of that and stuff or whatever. It creates good banter and good conversation.
Yeah, it does.
And that's what we want, because if everybody is on the same page, there's no excitement.
Yeah,
There's
nothing to talk about.
no entertainment. There's no back and forth. Like there's none of that. So I absolutely
and I'll say too, who is it? Rayleigh, is it? I don't know how you pronounce it, but Rayleigh Hewitt. I didn't see them on my channel, and look, I've seen about 20 comments in this and on my page, and they still haven't put together an argument of what they actually think is going to happen. They just be talking trash. So look, Rayleigh, you want to get involved? Give us something to talk about. I'll debate you. You can get on the Hoop Portal. We could talk it out. But until you put an actual thing and not just put boo or y'all gonna regret this, y'all are so wrong, come put an intelligent conversation in the chat and we gonna chop it up. But if you just gonna hate, that just tells me you don't know what you talking about.
There you go. Speaking of some of the comments, though, I am gonna put some of them out right quick or whatever, and maybe you can, if you want to, you can reply to it. This is my guy Big B, of course. First rounds on me, 472. He said, I actually agree. Don't think this team is as balanced as 2019. It's very top heavy. Steadying the ship should not be confused with being elite. How you feel about that, Jordan?
Yep, I love that. I'm with you, man. 2019, I tell you what, man, that team was one of the most fun teams I have watched as a Carolina fan. They just Kobe White, but you again, kind of like what I said, you had cats on that team that were from North Carolina and understood what it meant to play at UNC. And that's what I think at that team that was just dogs across the board, whether it was May, whether it was White, even Kenny Williams. Like that team was just so much fun to watch. And they ran into absolute buzzsaw of Auburn in that tournament, who just were flame throwing from the 3-point line. It was tough, but I was at the ACC tournament, and that was when Zion came back at Duke. And that, oh my goodness, man! Even though Duke won that game, that was just great basketball and great hoops. So I'm with him on that. Steadying the ship should not be confused with being elite, and they're steadying the ship and they're getting better. So be happy about that. But we don't need to tell them, hey, bro, if this team don't make a Final Four, it's a failure. That's not what this year needs to be about.
That I'm definitely with you on that. For sure. Furman Jow says, great job, guys.
Appreciate you.
Salute to you, bro. First rounds on me, of course. No lies told. We live and die by Henry and Caleb at the moment. That's a fact. Like, we got to do better, man. We got to start hitting shots to take some of that pressure off of them, man. Like, we just got to do it or whatever. Big shout out to my cousin, of course. I mean, I knew he was going to get in the chat or whatever. I just actually saw him right before we started the show. So he told me he'd be tapping in and listening. So big shout out to him. First rounds on me said, how would this team have fared against last year's non-conference scary? Curious to know y'all's thoughts on that. Good question, B.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a really good question. What you think? Jordan?
So I saw when he put this up, and I was like, that is a good question. And it's something I hadn't really thought about. And so I pulled up at Kansas. I think they probably win that game, honestly. I think this year's Carolina team would have beat last year's Kansas team on the road. I'll give them that. Auburn, I think they still probably would have lost. Michigan State, I think they would have won that. Alabama, what Nate Oates and Alabama does. There's certain teams that even if they're not, and Alabama's really good. There's nothing that is Oates is turning that to a top tier program in college basketball. We don't match up well with Alabama. Like it's one of those teams where it's just we don't match up well. So I think that would end up being a loss as well. The Florida game, which was in Charlotte, they had that game. So I got to feel like maybe this team is able to win that game. That Florida team was really good. They weren't clicking on all cylinders just yet then, but that Florida team was great. UCLA, that was the Ian Jackson game, I think, in the Garden. So I don't know. I'm gonna be respectful and actually I'm gonna give that to Ian because he went back home, bro. I always look when you go back home, you got to put on. So I'll shout out to Ian Jackson for that game. And then other than that, it was LaSalle's and Campbell's and things like that. So last year they went. Where'd they go? They went.
Do they beat last year's Duke?
No, I don't think so. I don't. I don't think so. But you know what?
Strange things have happened, right?
But my thing is that I think Duke, that team last year, because I went and saw them at Cameron because I had a kid playing. He played for a different school, but they were playing at Duke, so I went and watched them. And that Duke team, I was about 2 rows from the court. Them cats were legit. Like there was legit positional size across the entire board. They had bench guys, and that's where I think that we would struggle against a team like that because they were deep. They could play fast. They could slow it down. I think Wilson actually is better than Cooper Flagg, and that's a hot take, but I do think he is. And but the rest of the team that was around Cooper and that Duke squad was built really, really well. And they were what 30 seconds from a national championship. Yeah. I mean, or getting to a national championship. Shouldn't say that. So yeah. What you think though of those games? You think they beat? Let's see. So the losses they had was Kansas, Auburn, Michigan State, Bama, Florida. You think this year's team is able to win any of those 5 games if they played them last year?
I think they beat Kansas. I think they beat Alabama. I think they beat Florida. I think they beat Michigan State. I think they lose to Auburn. Yeah. I think the reason why they beat Alabama is because Grant Nelson would have to guard Caleb, and then you got Cliff Amorier or whatever. Like he's no presence like that, and I think he would have a tough time with Vazar. That's just me personally.
I think Hubert has nightmares about Grant Nelson, man. Because I definitely would if I was him. Because that was what happened in that game. It's funny because I was in grad school last year at Carolina, and so I was in a group project with like Paxton Wojcik and Cormac and them, and watching that game, man. I don't want to ever put Paxton on blast, but Hubert didn't do him no favors because they just put him in that pick and roll, and he just could not guard Grant Nelson, man. He just couldn't do it. Yeah. And it was why we waited so long to make that adjustment and get who is it that they put back in? I can't think of his name right now. He took that 3-point shot that everybody was mad about.
Oh, Jalen Withers.
Jalen Withers, right? Because Jalen Withers was out the game, and it was like, bro, why did we wait 5 possessions to get him and Paxton subbed out for each other to match up with Grant? Because Nate Oates just cleared it out and said, look, Grant, bro, go. Paxton can't guard you. And he couldn't. He scored 10. I'd say Grant Nelson give Hubert Davis nightmares, man.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. But I still think we beat Alabama. I think you put Trimble on Mark Sears. Then you got you could put Jonathan Powell on LeBaron Philon. Like I think we got the right players this year to be able to compete with Alabama. Florida, like you said, we almost beat them last year with the team that we had. Yeah. So I give this team the edge to beat them this year or whatever. I mean, UCLA, I think, of course, we beat them. And then Michigan State, I still think Michigan State is a better team last year than they are this year. We really, and I tell people all the time, if we had Seth Trimble, we would have won that game against them in Fort Myers or whatever. That I believe that, but again, that's just my opinion or whatever. So, let me move on to these comments real quick. John Kramer, salute Zell, but it's still basketball. Luka just might not be good, period. Yeah.
Either he's right or you're right. So, I mean, somebody got to be right.
There we are. There we go. This is your guy, Rel Hewitt. We aren't just talented. We have heart, so none of that will matter.
Yeah, I disagree with Rel.
Yeah.
I think part of the issue is we got some guys that don't have that heart and dog in them.
I believe that. We do have a few.
I think it's mixed. I think last year, 2 years ago, that whole roster basically from top to bottom had dogs.
Oh yeah, when you put
Cormac
and Harrison together with Mondo and oh my goodness, yeah, bro, you got problems.
That was dogs. Last year we probably didn't have a lot of dogs, which is
we didn't have no dogs last year.
Yeah,
if you ask me.
This year I think you got some. I think you got Caleb. I think you got Powell. I think
Trimble.
Seth sometimes too. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Vasar,
look, yeah, I do like that he is trying to dunk everything. But then you got the Luka, and then I don't know. I don't want to say Jaren's not a dog, but I would challenge him if I was part of that coaching staff. I would challenge him to be more vocal and be a little bit more of that type of guy, because I think when you're one of your best defenders, which is him and Seth, when they're Cormac and Ingram type level of intensity, I think it just really spreads a lot differently throughout the team. And that's why I like Powell so much, because he does do that. He is in no matter what he do, man, whether it's a rebound, assist, a made three, he coming down the court flexing like he just want like he about ready to fight somebody. And I love that. I love it.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I do wish Jaren Stevenson had that dog in him. If he had that Caleb Wilson in him, oh my goodness, he could go down and be like one of the best players in college basketball this year. Like, especially with his whole skill set that he already has. Like, we'll see though. We'll see. Maybe there's something under the sleeve or whatever that we just haven't seen yet. So I don't know. We'll see. John Kramer says 15-3 or 16-2. I'll take that. Absolutely. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Then he says 15-3. The losses: Duke, maybe Miami, and the Orange at the Dome. Those are the three. I'll take that.
Yeah. I'd sign. If you're Carolina, you sign up for that right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. I'll definitely take that. Rail says y'all are going to eat these predictions like a pause. Thanks, Rail. Okay, we appreciate it. And then you got all of these boos or whatever. Just don't spam the chat, my guy. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I know you're a fan, and I hope that you could come up here with some good points and everything. Just don't spam the chat. That will get you blocked. I'm not going to lie to you, because I don't really like that type of stuff. So, you have never seen me. Who are you? Okay. All right. I'm done with all of this.
Real big mad. If I know it, because they be big mad on my channel too.
Yeah. Real, you're doing too much, bro. That's all I'm gonna just say. You are just doing too much. So, but listen, Jordan, I truly appreciate you, my guy. It was an honor, you know what I'm saying, to have you on here. Like I said, I love connecting with people, man. And you know, especially when it's about UNC hoops. Diehard fan here or whatever. You more than welcome back anytime. All you gotta do, you just hit me up or whatever, and let me know, like, hey, you wanna lock in, do something, we can set something up, man. Doesn't matter what it's about, whatever the case may be. So you definitely welcome, man. And anytime, well, we'll talk off air about all of that, because I don't want you to disclose anything or whatever. But yeah, man, you always welcome or whatever. But tell everybody where they can find you, and all of that and stuff. Because as a matter of fact, you gotta give me your information so that I can put it in the
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, in the description below or whatever. But let everybody know verbally where they can find you.
Yeah, well, first, pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me on. It's great. Like I said earlier, and it's the first time I've come on as a guest on any podcast, so this is awesome. Always going to be in the memories now. You go hold a special place forever with that. If you are trying to get involved in the channel, it is the Hoop Portal. We are the Hoop Portal on TikTok, Instagram, X, YouTube, everything at the Hoop Portal. Come get involved. I will debate and comment with all of y'all. I have no issue going banter and going back and forth with everybody. But we also do everything, not even just UNC basketball. We cover all college basketball, mid-majors, Power 5, NBA draft stuff. So anything you want to do basketball, come get involved at the Hoop Portal. We'll be there, and you definitely I'll respond back to whatever y'all say because I like going back and forth. So it's about y'all.
He want all the smoke. Jordan wants all the smoke. I do too, but it's when you get the spamming and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
you ain't got nothing to say. Like if you just talking just to be talking so that you could be recognized, then that's a different story. But like
for sure.
But I want all of the smoke too. So me and Jordan, we on the same page for that, for sure. So listen, all of Jordan's information is gonna be in the description below. I'll add all of that here in a little bit or whatever. Again, appreciate Jordan for stopping through. Always welcome. And of course, it is what it is. We love the Heels or whatever. Anything else, Jordan, you got?
No, we're good, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. So listen, man, hey, do me a favor whenever you just stick around just for a second. But as far as everybody else, I appreciate y'all for tapping in, hanging out with me. Be back again or whatever with some more dope episodes here coming up soon with some special guests. And until then, hey.